We are in for a treat this evening because Samantha Watt, the District 25 PRM this current year, is a cool, caring creative. And these are not hyperbole. She is going to share with us some great ways to expand our creativity and what we're doing. Samantha, one of her great skills is she is an award-winning Etch-a-Sketch artist. Ask her about that at some point. This is a hands-on workshop, and we want you to be prepared to engage. Raise your hand, your Zoom hand that is best if you have a question, and wait to be recognized. Or you can put your questions in the chat. As Jamie said, this event is sponsored by Jamie Pickering and Sally Jett, and they are managing our Zoom features in the background. Back to you, Jamie.
I know I may disappoint. I may disappoint some of you if you were hoping for a do, but without further ado, I introduce to you Samantha Watt.
Wow, 2 introductions. I feel so special. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Amplifying Toastmasters with AI. This will serve as an AI 101 kind of course, but I'm thrilled to guide you through this exciting journey into the world of artificial intelligence, whether you've dabbled in it before or you have never opened up AI before. I hope to streamline your experiences, your work, spark your creativity, and help you focus on what matters most, building meaningful relationships and delivering value to our Toastmasters communities. And this transcends that as well. So this will be useful in everyday life for you. During this session, we'll discuss several tools and strategies to simplify tasks, like crafting social media posts, newsletters, event promotions. We'll also dive into best practices for using AI effectively and responsibly, ensuring it becomes a powerful ally in achieving your district's goals, your club's goals, or your personal goals. No prior technical knowledge is needed. Today's workshop is designed with beginners in mind. My aim is to equip you guys with approachable, actionable insights that you can start applying right away. So a little bit about my background. I'm not just an Etch-a-Sketch artist. I also am a Toastmaster, VPPR, PRM, all that. But my background, my professional background is in corporate training for a digital advertising and SaaS company, where I've spent years helping professionals stream their workflows, boost their creativity, and develop strategies. And I've found in my role there that AI has become an invaluable tool in that journey, but also in my PRM journey and my VPPR journey. I use AI every day to make my work more efficient. Whether it's brainstorming ideas, crafting engaging presentations, or organizing complex projects, AI helps me think outside the box and accomplish more in less time. In fact, full transparency, this presentation was strongly assisted by AI. It helps me organize my thoughts, refine my key points, and make sure the session delivers maximum value to you guys that are spending time with us tonight. And I told you, I'm just a trainer, and actually my degree is in funeral service. So yeah, I've been all over the place, but I'm not a programmer or a data scientist. And that's the beauty of AI and what we're talking about tonight. You do not need to have any level of tech knowledge to leverage its power. What you do on a Toastmasters level is already all you need. You just need to know a few best practices and be curious. My experience comes from hands-on, starting in the tools, just like you guys are going to do tonight. So my goal is to show you how to make these tools work for you as a Toastmaster and beyond. Before we get into the curriculum for tonight, take a moment to think about your relationship with AI, if you have one. If you had to describe it in one word, what would your relationship that you currently have with artificial intelligence be? And you can raise your virtual hand or put it in the chat. Nobody? No one has, do you like, it's non-existent? That's a word?
There's a lot in the chat, Samantha.
Okay, sorry, I can't see the chat. Wary, lost, we're dating. Grateful, okay, I like that.
I am in it every single day at my job.
Every single day, Ellen. Okay, well, you can help me out tonight. Makes our lives easier. Okay, useful for questions and answers, exciting, but with caution, just starting. Okay, seeing a big variety of experience here and maybe some trepidation. I know I had trepidation. Trust but verify. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. My company this year, at the beginning of the year, it's a digital advertising company, so we do a lot of digital stuff. And they told us that our goals for this year, one of our big year-end goals was to get using AI, start using AI, start bringing it into our day-to-day, because one thing about this technology is that if you guys think back to when computers first came out, the internet first came out, cell phones that did more than make phone calls came out, it was a little bit unnerving to probably most of us, right? The potential, kind of the wild, wild west of it all. We didn't know what was going on with it. But now we have enough information that we can kind of harness some of it to start becoming useful for us. So that's what I want you guys to take away from today. Want us to understand AI basics and its applications, learn best practices. I want us to practice tonight creating effective AI prompts and collaborate and apply our AI skills to Toastmasters challenges. So we're going to do all of that. And so let's get into it. First of all, what is AI? So if you're completely unaware of or unfamiliar with AI, AI stands for artificial intelligence, which is the simulation of human intelligence by machines to solve problems and make decisions. It's a technology that learns from data and performs tasks that typically require human input, right? If you've ever asked Siri a question on your phone, or Alexa, or you've used predictive text while you're typing a question into Google, or you've let your phone maps guide you or GPS guide you, you've already experienced AI in action. So it's not something to be afraid of. It's something that's a tool for you. Tonight, we're going to be focusing on GPT, which is a subset of AI, which focuses on text-based tasks and responds to your prompts. We'll talk a lot about what prompts are and how to make prompts for these AI tools. So this is a subset we're going to use today, ChatGPT. When it comes to AI writing tools, there are many popular options available to suit different needs. You can see some here on this screen. And just so you know, you take all the notes, but I have this entire presentation for you to walk away with tonight as well. So you'll have all of these featured as well. Yeah. Tonight, we'll be focusing exclusively on ChatGPT for all of my demonstrations. It just happens to be the one that I learned on and that I use the most. But if you're familiar with another AI tool and you're already utilizing it, by all means, use that tonight. But I'll be demonstrating with ChatGPT just so we're all on the same page with that. Everything you'll see during this workshop, examples, scripts, and prompts have been created using ChatGPT. So you can see firsthand how ChatGPT works if you've never tried any of these types of tools. A quick note about these tools: they are free for the most part. Free AI tools are a great starting point, but there's also paid versions that will unlock more features, just like anything you pay extra for. The reason I ultimately went for a paid version of ChatGPT is that I'm a PRM, I work in training, I work in digital stuff, so it makes sense for me because I can have it generate Google Sheets for me or full PowerPoint presentations, pictures, and I get unlimited prompts and questions a day with unlimited output from the tool. If you have unpaid version, it may just give you less opportunity for output throughout the day. There may be some limitations to what you can accomplish in it. Generally speaking, though, free AI is very powerful as well. So if it's not something that you need everyday life, you may find free AI perfectly useful. I'm definitely not getting paid for any of this. Saying ChatGPT is great or paid version is great. So do what you want with your AI tools. So I mentioned prompts earlier. How do you use a GPT? You begin with a goal. What do I want to accomplish with AI today? And then you write a prompt. So just like you would ask a friend a question about something you didn't know, you're going to write the question to the GPT tool. You can use all sorts of prompts for AI. Like you can see on the screen, what does word or phrase mean, right? How do I perform XYZ task? What should I make for dinner tonight? And you can even put the ingredients that you have in your refrigerator or your pantry. Can you create a grocery or shopping list for that recipe you just gave me? Help me solve this math problem. Can you help me study for a test? What are some good workout tips? I have a friend that's a professional personal trainer, and he told me that he put in some stats for a client and it spit out like the perfect training whole workout for like an entire month's workout for his person, his person that's working out with him. How can I improve my productivity? Can you help me code something in a language? What's the best time of the year to visit this place? Can you help me plan a trip itinerary? How can I reduce stress? And you guys get the point. You can think of literally any question and you can put it into a GPT prompt and it will spit back some kind of information to you, okay? The trick is, how do you make sure the information is relevant and valuable to you? And that is by knowing what your goal is with the question and then refining your search. So I'm going to switch to a demo of ChatGPT. So you'll be looking at my paid account. And I'm just going to show you some prompts that I've used recently. As I have a login, it saves all the prompts, all the things I've searched for on the left side here for me. So I can refer back to something. And one of the things that I'll save that for a second. Let me just show you me writing a prompt. So one of the questions we saw was, what should I have for dinner tonight? Or what should I put on my shopping list? What should I make? Let me say make, just for fun. Make for dinner tonight. And you'll notice I will have typos in this all night. It doesn't matter. It knows what the typos are. It knows that that was supposed to be spelled differently. Okay, it's asking me clarifying questions back. What kind of mood are you in? Are you craving something cozy, quick, or maybe a little adventurous? So it needs more information from me. So I'm going to refine my question. I am freezing and would like something warm and cozy. Okay, so how about a hearty, cozy dish to warm you up? And it's going to give me some options. Creamy chicken and wild rice soup. I hope everyone ate dinner already because this is sounding really good. Chili, shepherd's pie, pasta bake, ramen bowl. Which one sounds good to you? Or I can suggest a recipe if you let me know what you have on hand. That's super helpful to me. I can go to my pantry or my fridge and say, I have this, this, and this. Can I make any of those delicious sounding things with this? So that's just one tiny example of me writing a question and then it getting further information and giving me a better input. So if I say, let's go with the creamy chicken and wild rice soup. Can you give me a recipe? And it's going to give me a recipe right here on the spot. If I say, oh, I'm allergic to something, I can write that down and have it take it out of that recipe or give me a substitution. Let's say I'm allergic to onion. Is there another option? Let's skip down past the whole recipe. No problem. You can easily omit the onion and still have a flavorful soup. Here are some alternatives and adjustments. And it's giving me leeks, shallots, celery root, garlic, herbs, etc., to give that flavor of the onion, but to keep it within that same recipe. Some other things that I've tested with it today is I can, and I believe this is a paid account feature. I said, describe this picture. So this is fun if you're like bird watcher and you want to know what type of bird this is, or you want to investigate something that's a food or whatever. Describe this photo, and it has a describing feature for me. So here's my French bulldog in the living room looking really cozy by the fire. I've asked it to do a holiday card message. So these are, I'm just giving you some examples to get your brains working tonight. Write a short holiday card note to describe our year and wish our friends and family happy holidays. We went to Ireland and the Dominican Republic. We also bought a home and remodeled our kitchen. All right, so that's a lot. Didn't know what to say. And it wrote a beautiful little synopsis of what we did. And I said, make it shorter and more personable. So the steps to kind of doing this, I write my original prompt, but I know what I'm kind of looking for, and I'll know when it feels right. And this wasn't it. So I wanted to kind of specify and refine that prompt and that output. So it gave me another one. I said, make it funnier and a little longer, because I went too short with my previous recommendation. And then I gave it some more specifics, and it came out with the perfect card insert for my cards. So these are just some light things that I wanted to just kind of showcase as we get into you guys getting into the tools tonight for yourselves. So to participate in our activities today, we're going to be in breakout rooms. So if you can't do this, that's okay, but you'll need to log into an AI tool. If you don't have one, or you don't already work in an AI tool, join me now. Go to chatgpt.com. We'll work out of ChatGPT tonight if you're brand new to it. And for ChatGPT, you need to sign up. And that's so it can remember you, learn who you are, learn your voice, etc. But it's a free thing to sign up unless you want to go the paid route. You'll click sign up, and then you can log in with either the sign up button, or you can log in with Google, Microsoft, or Apple accounts. I use my Google account, keeps it all in my Google sphere. But go ahead and do that. If you're not able to do that, or you have any issues, we're going to be in groups tonight for our activities for the most part. So work with your group, or definitely call me into your group and I can see if we can troubleshoot. So when working with AI, these are some best practices to remember as we go through tonight. It's important to remember that it's not a perfect solution, but a powerful tool. To get best results, there are a few key practices to keep in mind. Always review the output for accuracy, tone, and clarity. If it's not quite what you need, as you saw in my holiday card example, refine your prompt. For instance, you can make it say, make this more professional, or add specific examples. Refining your input often results in much better outputs. I've gotten to where I'll write a full, I probably could have written the whole thing I wanted it to output in the first place by what I wrote in, but it still comes out sounding more refined and polished and with a little extra detail. AI does not always get it right. Okay, while it's a great tool for brainstorming and drafting, it could, depending on which version you're using, etc., might include outdated or inaccurate information. Always cross-reference any facts, statistics, or claims that it generates. You may be aware of this with photo outputs that AI is known for putting out, that it cannot spell words. It'll have inaccurate landmarks in pictures that it creates. Very famously, but that happens in the text results as well. So just be cognizant of that and fact check your data. AI generates generic content unless you provide context. Make sure to tailor the language, tone, and details to suit your specific audience, whether you're a district leader, a new member, or a local business, right? I have used ChatGPT so much now for my club and for District 25 that ChatGPT knows our voice, it knows when my club meets, and it'll put all the times in the Zoom link in automatically for me because it's a learning model. Finally, remember that AI is a creative partner, not a replacement for your expertise. This is one of the huge downfalls to folks that are using AI and not following these best practices, is it can sound canned. And if you're using this to write your speeches or write documents or put out letters to your community and things like that, it can come across as cold and it sounds like AI. You'll know AI if you see it because it sounds like AI. But if you give it that tone and you tell it how to refine by giving it adjectives or words to go off of, it can start to sound like your voice. You can even include snippets of text that you've written, if you've written a speech or something like that, to show it. This is an example of how I want this to sound. Use this tone, use this language, and write like me. And that'll help it a lot. So use AI to generate ideas, save time, and enhance your messaging. But really the final touches, the final run through, the refining should always come from you guys. So it sounds like your voice at the end of the day. Okay, now hopefully we have our ChatGPT accounts or our Gemini or whatever tool you're using. AI is as good as your input, like we just said, so be clear with your prompts. And use AI for inspiration. What I want us to do here is put in our first prompt of the night. So start by typing into your tool, tell me a fun fact about space. And I want to see what you guys get. So raise your hand, call it out. I want to see what fun fact about space we all get. Mine says that there's a giant cloud of alcohol in the Milky Way. What did you guys get?
Mine was sound doesn't travel in space.
Okay.
Go figure it tells the sound engineer that.
It's learn about space.
Mine was Venice takes about 243 Earth days to rotate once on its axis a day, but it only takes about 225 Earth days to complete one of the orbits around the sun a year. This means if you were living in Venus, you'd celebrate a year before celebrating a full day.
Wow. That's a really fun one.
Mine's quite long.
Mine
Okay.
is too.
You got
It
long
says-
ones, so you can tell it. Make this really short so I can read it to a group.
Okay, make it short.
Yeah, I try to. If you got a really long one, say, make this short so I can read it out loud to my group. Andrew? Can't hear you.
I'm muted, that's why.
Makes sense.
Here's a fun fact about space. If two pieces of the same type of metal touch in space, they can bond together permanently. This phenomenon is called cold welding, and it happens because in the vacuum of space, there is no oxygen or other substances to form a barrier between the metal surfaces. Without these barriers, the atoms of each piece don't realize that they're separate objects and join together as one.
Wow.
Would never have known that.
Yeah, me either.
I would double check that one.
Oh, yeah. See, don't always trust it as a fact, right? Lynn, what did you get with the shorter one?
Okay, my shorter one came up with on Saturn, helium balloons sink instead of float because its atmosphere is lighter than helium.
Oh, okay. We're learning a lot about space. Thank you. And in the interest of refining, we just kind of did a little refine on the spot. Thank you, Lynn. This is the output we got. We're trying to share it with a group. So let's make it a little shorter of an output. And you type that in, and then it gave you a shorter output. My next prompt is to explain why this is interesting or important in 1 or 2 sentences? Because mine gave me a long output as well. Oh, for mine, it was the giant cloud of, I think someone else got the same answer. It's interesting because it shows that space isn't just empty, it's full of complex chemical compounds, including the building blocks of life. That was the alcohol and the Milky Way one. What did you guys get for why is it interesting or important? I know we're Toastmasters. I like sharing.
Because this shows how physics varies across the planet, helping us understand atmosphere, space exploration, and the search for life.
I like that. That is really interesting. Andrew?
I didn't do that one because I was busy taking Alan's suggestion and fact checking it, and I asked it to fact check that.
Oh, okay.
And it gave me, it said search by sites, and it gave me references to those sites to where those statements are. So it can fact check itself.
I love that.
I was not aware of that.
That's a really cool refining technique of I've used that for sure in my work examples when I train folks, and I need more examples to explain this, or if I'm writing a speech and I'm like, I need some more sentences here to explain this concept I'm talking about. Anybody else want to share their interesting fact and why it's interesting?
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I had asked it because I got your alcohol one. I asked it to tell me something about space travel, and it told me that the astronauts get taller, temporarily taller, up to 2 inches taller while they're in space, because without the constant pull of Earth's gravity, their spines expand. So I asked why it was interesting, and it says it's interesting because it shows how the human body adapts to microgravity, offering insights into spinal health and the effects of weightlessness. And understanding these changes was important for designing countermeasures to keep astronauts healthy during long space missions.
That is interesting.
We need that.
Learning so much about space. I did not expect all this interesting stuff. Susan, you're on mute.
So mine was about Venus. A day in Venus is longer than a year. It takes 240 Earth days to rotate once, but only 225 days to orbit the sun. So this is fascinating because it defies what we expect. On Venus, you'll experience a full year before the same day ends. It also highlights how diverse and strange the dynamics of planets can be compared to Earth.
It's interesting how we all have such different results too from our different AI tools and our different inputs. Thank you so much for everybody that responded. We're going to keep this idea going forward. We're going to go into breakout rooms for the next one though. We're going to go on a 5-minute vacation. And I'm starting with these concepts that are outside of Toastmasters, right? Just to really help us start seeing how AI can really help us in our day-to-day. Because the more we use it, it doesn't just have to be a tool for Toastmasters. The more you use it, the more you get experience with it. So use it for every little thing in your life and start to get familiar. The 5-minute challenge that I'm giving you, you're going to be in groups for this so you can work together, is a more challenging prompt. We're going to open breakout rooms for you to work with your district, or we're going to combine people that aren't in the same district too. I want you to practice in groups to get a feel for something more in depth. We're going to create a vacation itinerary. So your group gets to choose where you're going. It could be for fact-checking purposes, maybe make it a place that you've been before, someone in the group's been before, but make it a long weekend, Friday to Sunday, and have AI include meals and activities, maybe a place to stay, anything you want to do on your vacation itinerary from Friday to Sunday, and your destination of choice. So we're going to open that up. And then I want to hear some of our activities that we come back with in 5 minutes. So have fun with that. Rooms are open. Yay! AI is fast. So I want to hear a couple of groups tell us where did you choose to go and what were some of its recommendations? Who wants to go? Oh, Lisa.
Margaret checked with where we're having our mid-year training for the trio in Dallas.
Okay.
What's around there, what we could do while we were there. I thought that was a brainstorm idea.
Ask
That's
if it's in our region.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, me.
My husband, no, we'll go past it. He's trying to be funny. Moving on.
So I had specifically asked to give me an itinerary for a weekend at New York City from Friday to Sunday. And it broke down like everything I can do starting from Friday afternoon when I arrive to the evening, and then Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday. So it gave me events to go to, shows to see, restaurants to eat at, and
Wow.
from New York's Macy's Herald Square, like everything broke it down for me. And then I asked for a second thing to give me airfare options, and it gave me 3 airfare options.
Awesome. Very successful. I'm so curious about what it went to, all the things in New York. What show did it tell you to go to?
So it said I could see where is it? So there's at night, on the first night I get there, I can go to Saks Fifth Avenue to see a light show and visit Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. And then for the Broadway show, I can see Wicked, Aladdin, or A Christmas Carol, the musical. And
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then it tells me to go to an ice skating rink on Sunday morning at Wolfman Rink for ice skating.
Wow. That's cool, Susan. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
Yeah. Lynn, what'd you get? Oh, you're on mute. Unmute.
Sorry, we're going to Wanaka in New Zealand.
Oh, international. Okay. What did it tell you to do in Wanaka?
Our first day, we're just going to relax and stroll on the beach in the Wanaka Lake and have our first dinner at the Italian restaurant, Francesca, or the favorite dinner place is Kika.
Oh.
And then we're stargazing in the evening.
Oh, that sounds lovely. I want to
Yeah.
go. Add an extra person to your trip, please.
And Saturday, we're hiking to Diamond Lake on the Diamond Lake tracks.
Oh, you lost me at hiking, but okay, keep going.
And we're actually doing some shopping and stuff and snapping some tree pictures. And we're going to the Rhythm and Reason Brewery.
Oh, I like that.
And our last day, we're doing a scenic drive up Mount Aspiring Park, National Park, and do the Blue Pool track or the Rob Roy Glacier track.
That all sounds really nice.
Visiting the Puzzling World.
What is that?
I don't know.
Well, we'll have to look into that.
Our New Zealand person is in our group, so she lives there, so she'll tell you.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
There's a beautiful puzzling world. You can go and you can explore. Right now, I'm sitting in Wanaka. I live in Wanaka. This is my office. I took a break of 40 minutes, and I will be going back to my work soon. Yes, it's a beautiful place. It's a tourist place, and Lynn captured it beautifully.
Thank you for teaching us a little about New Zealand, and thanks for joining us from New Zealand tonight. All right, so we talked about, making a more challenging prompt, and now we're going to refine it. We just heard that the entire vacation we have planned the forecast is rain all weekend. So we need to go and adjust our plans for our hiking and walking probably. And also, your friend just confirmed they're bringing their granddaughter with them. So she's 6 years old. We need activities for a kid as well. So we're going to go back in our groups and we're going to plan for the weather and plan for a 6-year-old to be joining us on this fantastic weekend trip.
Rooms are open.
He says.
Alan says he's not going out with a 6-year-old.
Me either.
Alnor, what room were you in?
Room 7 is missing somebody. Let me look at the spreadsheet though.
Yeah, I'll put it in there.
That's where I was.
There we go.
Oh, hey. Room 7. Nice. So 5 minutes for that. Adjusting their itineraries. I feel like they had fun with that one.
Yeah. We learn best through times of enjoyment.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to start with that. Make a social media marketing plan.
Well, and this I think really shows them what it can do, and
the power.
It's what I also have. Oh, we're still recording. There we go. Thank you.
All right. So our trip changed and it started to rain. What did that do to our plans? Someone tell me one thing that it changed about your plans. Oh, and the granddaughter. Susan?
So it changed my itinerary and gave me more children-friendly, kids-friendly places to visit. So it suggested the American Museum of Natural History, where you can learn about dinosaur fossils and massive blue whales and the Hall of Ocean Life. So it's very specific. And it suggested going to a museum of ice cream where you can interact with space that's good for kids and feature installation and sweet treats. And yeah, it's really neat. And again, it still broke down all like the different times of the days and the morning and the afternoon. So it's really awesome.
That's awesome. And I love the idea of an ice cream museum. I will check that out next time in New York.
Yeah.
Now, I heard some interesting food in the UK over Jamie's microphone. So, Alan, what did your group come up with?
Denise, Renee, y'all want to take that? I mean, bangers and mash came up.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Percy's nodding. He knows what that is. Anybody else?
Renee found a place for the kid to eat, but Alan is
Found out
not on the fence about taking a kid.
Pub stands for, public house, and that they have kids menus. So Alan wasn't going to go until I twisted his arm about the kids menu. But what was interesting is we found out that Jamie and Alan will not be able to stay at the Pickering Castle because it's down right now. But we can at least participate in the Pickering Wall weekend. And so it's everything Pickering is what we did.
Wow. I like that. And Alan, this is a fictional activity, right? You're not really going with a grandchild to.
Well, that's good because I don't have one.
Well, that too.
I've got a few I can loan out.
But the Pickering stuff I am going to go do.
Yeah.
I have to show Jamie where her name is.
Please do.
Just stay away from the haggis.
Yeah.
It's Yorkshire, not Scotland.
Yeah. They're not that far apart, though.
This isn't bad. It's a little spicier than I thought it was going to be.
Well, I'm glad it sounds like our weekends got saved. Darren, did you have something new on your weekend?
I just asked it to schedule a vacation to Tatooine, and it did. So I've got stops at Mos Espa, and I'm sure it says something about Mos Eisley being a wretched scum of hive of scum and villainy. But yeah, that's got okay.
I didn't understand a word of that, but I know that's a Star Wars reference.
Yes,
so
yes.
very cool.
Samantha.
Wow.
Sorry, Alan.
This is cool.
That's really fun. See, so the sky's the limit when we have our practical things that we want to accomplish. I hope you guys are getting a feel for how to ask it what you want it to accomplish and what you're coming in with that goal, right? Of I need this to happen and I need it to happen with these parameters, and explaining that to the tool until it starts to really give you the output you want. And then refining that output if you need to. So with that under our belts, next up in our groups, this can be for public relations, so VPPRs, PRMs, but it's really for anybody. So the district leaders, the club leaders, and you in your professional and personal lives, we want your AI tool, your GPT tool, to understand your voice. So I want you, and you can use AI to come up with what your voice is. But once it knows your voice and how you want it to come across, how you want it to talk, what kind of responses you want from it, it will start to speak back that way. So, and as an example, in Toastmasters world, we have distinct, do we want to be professional? Do we want to be more lighthearted? Do we want to be more energetic? Do we have a focus for the year? In your personal and professional lives, what is that for you? What are your pillars? What are the things that you want to come across? I'm a lot more dry and sarcastic, and like that's how I want most of my outputs to be, because that's how I want it to sound like it's really me that's speaking. So what does that mean for you? We're going to give you 5 more minutes in your room to talk as a group, help each other come up with what that could be, or use AI and see what prompts help get you to the voice that you're looking for AI to know from you. So work on that. Go ahead.
Is there a way for things like this where you're talking about your own voice to have that remember it over multiple asks and you don't have to redefine it every time?
Yes, and it does that for me now because I've taught it, right? I've said, this is the voice I want you to use. And there's actually settings in your GPT. That's why you have an account for it, and you have to have an account for it. In your settings, you can specify how you want it to come across. I have a coworker that does this at work, and she'll put in, as an example, make me sound like a valley girl or make me sound like a cowboy, and then show how the outputs come out after that. So that's a setting in ChatGPT specifically, is the one that I'm familiar with. But it'll learn you naturally with just giving it outputs and inputs a lot. Rosie?
So you want me to tell it that?
Sorry, Lynn, for a second.
Never under any circumstance. I'm sorry, go ahead, Percy.
Does that mean that you could ask it to prepare specifically for a certain audience? Like, I'm going to do this speech, like, here's my speech. I'm going to do it for engineers.
Yes, 1,000%. I teach primarily folks in the Dominican Republic. So they have some words that we don't use and vice versa. And I have it teach for them when I'm at work, or for my Toastmasters club, it uses my sarcastic voice. It can be for any audience. You just let it know.
What I was going to ask, can we tell it never, ever to make us sound like a valley girl? Is that possible?
Yes. Yeah, okay. That's also an option.
I need to make sure that's turned off.
Yes, Les, you're safe.
Just say, don't gag me with a spoon.
Yeah, whatever.
if you want permanent suggestions and rules, click on your image in the upper right corner and hit Customize Chat GPT.
Yep, right here, Customize Chat GPT, and it'll walk you through the customizing instructions.
Now, one of the things Darren found was it fairly quickly hit his limit on what he could ask Chat GPT for free. So are there better ones to use than that if you're wanting to do it for free?
So again, my knowledge extends to ChatGPT because that's what I use, and I have the paid account. But does anyone else in the room have a preferred that does?
I use Gemini, which is Google's.
That's what I switched to. Use Gemini.
Yeah, Gemini. That's Google's.
I pay for ChatGPT 4.0 instead of the freebie version, and there is a dramatic difference in quality of responses.
Yeah.
I'm with Alan. I do the same.
And do you mind if I ask what the pay version is? I mean, are we talking
$20 a month
or $100 a year? Yeah.
20 a month.
$20 a month. It's a Netflix subscription. And Jamie, does Gemini do unlimited responses?
Yeah, I have not hit a limit yet.
Nice. Cool. Good questions, guys. Any other questions before we go into our breakout rooms for the voice activity online?
Yeah, I noticed that your slide, your very opening slide, was Toastmaster branding colors, but it wasn't a typical Toastmaster style slide. How do you ask questions to get a variety of slides?
I actually created this presentation out of my own brain. It's the text and the notes that I'm reading that came out of the GPT, but I will be showing in a bit how I use Canva for some things, and that would probably be like a AI 201 experience that we might have to host in the future to get into those things. Good question though. Susan?
I was wondering if I missed something. Do we have to click on something to figure out where the voice option is at?
So it's not like a literal, this is the voice and you type it in here. When you get it to a point where you're talking to it and you're training it by doing the inputs, it'll start to understand your voice. But what we were talking about specifically is in your profile photo in the top right, there's instructions for customizing the GPT. And it looks like this when you open it. So it's like, what would you like ChatGPT to know about how to provide you better responses? How would you like it to respond? So this is where like my girlfriend was putting type like a Valley Girl, things like that, the little types of little notes like that.
Okay, thank you.
You can also put it into any given prompt. Like you can ask it to write a letter asking for forgiveness from your beloved spouse, but do it in the voice of Snoop Dogg.
Yes, you could do that.
or Shakespeare.
Yeah. All right.
So Samantha, for this, they're about to go into the breakout rooms, and you want it to learn their voice. Do you have a suggested sentence or what should they start with for their voice?
Honestly, so what I would recommend is say to your GPT service, I need help finding my voice for this tool. Or finding my voice. You can just say my voice. And it'll ask you questions to help get to that point. Or you could say something like, actually, no, that's what I would recommend. I'm going to stop there. I would recommend asking ChatGPT, how do I create a style voice for my content? Something like that.
Cool. And you want to give them 5 minutes again?
Yeah, let's do 5 minutes. And then we're going to use our voice in the next activity to build off of that. So find your voice. Again, professional, personable, energetic, outgoing, dry, sarcastic, whatever you want to be. But let's come up with that in the next 5 minutes.
All right. Rooms are open so you can help each other. Do it as a group project or individually. Make sure we.
All right. Hopefully we all found a little kind of voice for ourselves. And when we create our next breakout room, this is our last breakout room activity. We're going to give you all prompts in your groups to work together. And these are going to be Toastmaster related prompts. So we want to use a professional voice. If you guys came up with something that's not a professional voice, let's go back to that. For this is going to be coming to you in the chat. It's a spreadsheet, and I'll show you guys what this looks like on my screen real quick. So group 1, Alan's group, you guys would have this first prompt that says number 1 next to it. Group 2, so on and so forth. So that's how you'll know what your prompt is. And that is being shared with you guys right now. So take that link, and it should save in the chat for you when you go to your breakout rooms. So just open that up, find your prompt, or check it out now, save it. And we are going to get in our groups and work on a Toastmasters with our prompt with our voice, with our professional Toastmasters voice, maybe not professional, that you came up with. And, you know, do your renewals reminder email, your contest promotion email, TLI promotion, et cetera, and then we'll come back together and talk about them. But I'll give you guys another 5 minutes for that in your rooms to try this Toastmasters prompt. Have fun.
Can I ask you a question before I go? Well, the question I had was, when I tried to define our voice, we just got an Ask GPT. It gave us tips how to do that. It didn't actually do anything for us to, you know, it didn't ask us. It gave us a whole bunch of tips and says, which one of these sets of tips do you like best?
Oh, I see. So we need to re-finagle how we're asking it, right? So
correct.
Tell the
It
chat
didn't
GPT,
really help.
my goal is to come up with a voice to use when I'm working with AI.
Mm.
And then say, all of the things that I just responded to you with, do that.
Okay.
So you just want to tell it, use the information I just gave you, the answers I just gave you to do this. And just ask it for your goal again.
All right. Can you send me to the breakout room again, please?
Welcome back, friends. All right. I'm so curious to
There
see what
just isn't enough time.
taste of it, Lynn, a taste, right? So you're going to be encouraged to do this after the class, right?
Agreed. Not enough time.
Not enough time. Yeah. Discussion that we are running, you know, a little tight. So did anyone come up with a response and output from their prompts that they want to share?
I sure liked the renewal letter it generated.
Oh, okay. So you had the renewal letter.
One of the fun things was it was using different things for bullet points about why this was a good idea and your benefits, the benefits of staying in Toastmaster. One of the bullet points was a microphone. And so for the speaking skills, and then it had, you know, the community, and it had a different little community logo, but I thought it was cute using those different
it's very good at using emojis, and that's something that is really handy on digital emails and social media to get more attention on your posts. So awesome.
Yeah.
Darren.
We asked it to create a letter inviting the club officers to TLI, but then after it created it, we went back and said, could you add a little humor to that and spice it up? And it came back with, tired of leading your club like a deer in the headlights, feeling overwhelmed by the weight of the president job? Fear not, fellow Toastmasters, the district Toastmaster leadership. So it went on and on and on, and it had this funnier tone to it all. So very well done.
Awesome. It's all about refining it to meet your goals, right? And one of the things I love about all the Toastmaster stuff is because ChatGPT and these tools, they use history on the internet. So it knows what Toastmasters is. So it knew what speaking skill, like what you can learn in Toastmasters. It already knows all that information and can make really solid content for you. So that's really exciting. Elisa, you're muted.
I will never learn. Anyway, I did a search on speech contests, advertising for speech contests. Yeah. And the subject line is Unleash Your Voice, join our district speech contests. And then there's like 5 bullet points with like showcase your talent with a description, gain valuable experience, etc. And it includes adding your date and your time everything. It's really, because you go to the same rote information, and this was a lot more fun and energized than what I've been doing.
We can rut, right? I, as PRM, I take every date that we have on our calendar and I write it out, and I'll put those dates into ChatGPT, and I'll say, put this into an entertaining message for the district to like know what events are going on. And it knows, like it just does it for you. And if it doesn't come out just perfect, edit it, right? Change it. Refine that output. For the sake of time, I want to move on. I wanted to show you guys something. We just did an output exercise for Toastmasters, and I want to show you something as an output example. I know not everybody is going to be the PRM or work in social media, but I want to show you something kind of behind the scenes of how PRMs can use, or VPPR. So this goes back to a club level as well. So you'll see my crazy Canva here. Canva is a really powerful design tool. So if your district's not using it, I would highly look into it. Highly recommend looking into it. And what I want to do is show you how I can use this in conjunction with my chat tool. And I asked this earlier just to save us a little bit of time. And I'll show you from the very beginning of my post here. So this is how I type to ChatGPT, just to give you some insight into how I do it now that I've been doing it a lot and how I know to get the best results. I'll tell it, you are the VPPR. I'll tell ChatGPT, you're doing this. So it puts it in the correct person. So you're the VPPR for your Toastmasters club. I told it the name of the club, even though it already knows my club at this point because I tell it like every week. You need one social post for each week beginning December 16th and running through June 30th, 2025. Make the social post text and include an idea for a visual to go with the post. That I'll make in Canva. The schedule for meetings is every first and third Wednesday at noon for 1 hour via Zoom. This is an advertisement, by the way. Please join my club. Make posts related to holidays, seasonality, or scheduled meetings, and anything else interesting. Focus on benefits of Toastmasters, like public speaking, but also leadership, right? Pretty open-ended, but it knows what Toastmasters is, it knows what holidays are, etc. So it started writing out a plan. And there's the week of this December 16th, the week of December 23rd. It has a visual idea, so what I should put in my visual on Canva and my text that I could add to that post. It started doing that and got through, March or something, February. And then I asked it, can you complete the plan and put it in a spreadsheet format and include hashtags? So it did that, and it gave me a download. And I have that now as a spreadsheet. So that would get you far enough if you want to go manually make social posts for your club or your district. But this also works for anything else that you have timeframes on or you want lots of output on. You can have it put it into a spreadsheet for you and have it organized like this. But I'm going to take it one step further. I have this downloaded to my computer. I now take it to wherever my Canva's open. And I have an example, just basic Instagram post that I made in here. Earlier, I went to the top of my Canva, I clicked Instagram post, or actually I think Facebook post. And I just made a super generic blue square, some paragraph text at the top, the club name and the website at the bottom. Super generic, but I'm going to show you what I do with that. I go down on Canva. I'm going to take my output and I'm going to do a bulk creation. Bulk create. And I know this is like AI 201, so if y'all want a class or a deeper dive on this stuff separately, let me know. But I'm going to upload data from an Excel sheet. I promise I'm getting to a point. There's my spreadsheet that I downloaded.
This is a paid version?
This is a paid version of Canva that I'm using, but everything so far I think is on a free version of Canva.
So you can do bulk stuff on a free version.
If so, I haven't used a free version in a minute, so don't quote me on that, but I think so. So I have the whole spreadsheet. It's uploaded in here now. Okay, I'm going to continue. There's nothing I need to do with that. And now I'm going to basically take my data in my spreadsheet, and I really just need the post text column, because that's what's going into the body of the post. That's this one. And I'm going to right click on the text in the middle of my box here and connect data to post text. So I have post text clicked over here, connect data over here, okay, and continue. It's got 28 designs for me now, which means it's putting the text onto my blank blue image that's already branded for my club. Give it a second. Okay, I would make the font a little bit smaller before I input that next time. But if I just make that a little bit smaller now, I could add a picture behind that. That's an effective post. Is it the best post in the world? No, but I'm bulk creating so that I can get my text into these boxes, and then I can add the pictures that I want. I could do this for any graphics that I'm making, for every contest that I have coming up in contest season, every TLI that I have coming up in TLI season, right? So we can do bulk creation for a lot of the things that we promote in our districts and in our clubs. So I wanted to share that just as an extra layer of application, and an extra layer of kind of like deep diving into ChatGPT and AI. So with that, actually, Canva is where I have my presentation too. And I have too many browsers open, bear with me. So there's really nothing you need to see on the browser, on the presentation anymore. The next slide was just going to be, I'm curious, now that we've had this discussion tonight, and now that we have gone through prompts and some ideas, and maybe some of you guys have already been pretty active in AI before, especially with Toastmasters hats on here, what are some ideas that maybe I didn't bring up tonight, or some prompts that you guys have used or had success with in your Toastmasters lives that you might want to share with the group, so we can kind of create a little think tank here, maybe share these ideas?
There's one I would like to share, Samantha, that I think is a little bit out of the normal. When I was doing one of my district visits as a region advisor, I was doing cold calling with the club growth director, and she had a list of 11 companies that we needed to go visit around Fargo. I think this was in Fargo. So I went into Gemini, I fed in all the addresses, and I said, what's the most efficient way to drive these addresses? And it put them in order. And I even said, oh, wait, no, hold on, we're going to start here. And it reordered them for me, starting at that one specific place. And it was awesome because we didn't do any backtracking of the driving. It was cool.
That's amazing. It's a little harder to do on like actual Google Maps to accomplish that. So having ChatGPT or Gemini take care of that for you is awesome. Thank you for the suggestion. Andrew.
Hi, if you, I have a suggestion. If you do a 2.0 of this webinar, I would love to hear more specifically Toastmasters related things you can do with it, rather than the beginning, which I understand there's a lot of people that are new to it, but I would love a 2.0 with more specifically.
I would love to do that. Awesome. Any other brainstorm ideas for us, maybe for a 201, something you'd want to see that we didn't see tonight, or something that you do already in your clubs or districts that would be a recommendation? If you don't, that's okay too.
I have also started, because I'm on LinkedIn quite a bit, and you always want to use an image in your posts. It gets more attraction that way, and I don't want to get into royalties or get accused of. So I was just drawing my own, and they're beautiful drawings. You should see them. But now Gemini does a little bit. It's a little clunky on it, but I'm teaching it, and I get some of these images that are original, and I don't have to worry about taking somebody else's image and posting it.
Oh, I like that. So using the AI images for your posts as well. Beautiful. Anybody else?
Will this recording of this session be posted somewhere where we can watch it again later?
Yes, sir. We're recording it for you guys to watch
Awesome.
along if you'd like.
Thanks.